God does not force anyone to do beyond what is within his capacity. Everyone will get the reward he earns and will be responsible for the evil he does. Surah Baqarah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I was talking about, in my previous video, I was talking about the suicide of a person I knew very closely and how she lost her battle to depression, and how I was talking about just a very tiny percentage of my opinions, thoughts, response to it. If I have to talk about it, it will take forever. I will never finish expressing what I have to say about that. Having said that, I want, inshallah, in this video to tell you about how depression has changed me as a person. That is something very, very important. First of all, dear viewers or subscribers, maybe you feel that there are very few people in this world who are depressed. I don't know the exact percentage or statistics right now. I don't have them with me right now, but there are actually many more people who seem okay but who are not okay. There are many people who are struggling with their mental health. Some people accept that they are suffering. Some people are in denial. Some people don't even know. Some people are totally lost as to how to get a solution to that. There are all kinds of situations going on. But alhamdulillah, I would say, in my own case, it's true that my own family, when they were not always that, how would I say, tactful, smart, or they did not know how to deal with it when I was going through depression. Perhaps the intention was good, but you can't expect someone who has never been through it to totally understand you in that sense and to give you that kind of response that you need. You have to accept it and to forgive them, because it's not their fault. They are ignorant, they are clueless. That's why I always say alhamdulillah that if you are able to express yourself, you're able to go to a therapist and say exactly word for word, specifically what you're going through, it makes a huge difference, Many people spend years trying to understand themselves and then explain to others what they are going through. Many people are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They still have lived with depression for a very large part of their lives, and they never tackled it. They have their reasons. They are not always entirely guilty, but it's just like Allah doesn't give everyone that level of clarity. That's how I take it. So alhamdulillah for that. And yeah, I was saying how depression changed me as a person. Depression changed me 100% as a person, I would say, in all honesty. I wouldn't be the same person that I am if I never knew depression. I know that everyone in this planet goes through problems, but not everyone in this planet knows depression. Some people have never even felt depression, I think. They have never felt how it feels to just want to die. And these people are really lucky, perhaps, but I haven't been that lucky in that sense. And I'm not saying it out of bitterness, just saying that, I would prefer not to have experienced depression, let's be honest. But how depression changed me as a person. First of all, the first time I experienced depression, like I said, I was 13. So it was like I was so innocent. I was in a bubble of illusion, not illusion, but very innocent. I was like, life was so normal. Then it was like one day, all of a sudden, everything seemed so dark. I just can't stop crying. I have this huge sadness. I feel really, nothing seems okay anymore. And I don't even know why in the first place. So it's just like you feel like things will never be like that before. And at that time, I was reading in the newspaper, there was a corner where people were talking about their, affaire de cœur, as we say in French, like emotional topics, etc., love, health, etc. Then I discovered that many people actually felt that way. And there was a word for that. And then slowly, I started to know what was going on with me. So I feel like I lost a huge part of my innocence with depression. I became an adult way before I was even an adolescent. At 13 years old, you go through depression. It gives you a maturity, a clarity, an awareness, like I said, that maturity that perhaps you would never have had if you were not afflicted with depression. It made me become so much more aware of my feelings and see many things in the world. I was able to really view the world perhaps more like from an adult perspective, and it taught me to never take anything for granted. When you've been depressed, when you've known how it is to be in the darkest hole and to have seen the worst, to hit rock bottom, then you know every little chance you get at happiness, every little moment of joy that you get, it's like the biggest treasure in the world. You become the most grateful person in the world. You never take anything for granted. At least that's my take on it. I keep the little bit of good thing in my life. It's like, for me, I keep thanking God a million times, because I know how it feels to lose everything, not on the outside, but lose everything here. Like, you can't appreciate anything, you can't function, you don't smile, you don't laugh, you don't have anything. You're just a walking corpse. May Allah protect us from that kind of situation. May Allah protect us from that kind of sadness. It's something that I wouldn't even wish my worst enemy to go through. It is all Allah's plan. Definitely it is Allah's plan. There are medical reasons. Life is not perfect. We go through traumatic events which sometimes scar us forever, and we can heal from it, but it takes a lot of courage and hard work and patience. You will not heal from something in a jiffy, in a second. You will have to be patient. You will have to be honest with yourself, that first accept that you're suffering. Don't be in denial, you know. My depression taught me to honor my feelings, to not run away from it. Why? We live in a society where we seem to have a problem with acknowledging negative emotions. Like I always say, there is no emotion that is negative. It's just the way you allow it, the way you welcome it, what you do with that emotion. Perhaps a negative emotion visits me. I don't know, anger, sadness, loneliness, frustration, whatever it might be. Maybe I use it as inspiration to make a painting, to make a drawing, to make a song, to sing, to make a video, to write a short story. There are so many things that pain can open up a lot of doors. I'm not saying you should ask for pain, but pain is not a negative thing. It makes you feel more compassionate and empathetic with other people. Oh, by the way, I forgot, guys, the most important thing that depression taught me, alhamdulillah, is to always try to understand someone. Why is someone acting in a particular way? Many people, they tend to view the world in a black and white perspective. Like, let's say there is a person who is antagonized by the majority of people, like a villain in movies. Many people will say that he or she is a very bad person. They are an evil person. Why are they acting like that? But as a student of literature and as someone who has been through depression, I know that the human nature is way more nuanced and subtle. It's not like someone is just acting evil like that. There must be a reason behind it. Maybe the person is suffering themselves. Maybe the person has some unfulfilled needs. Maybe the person has gotten a misunderstanding. Maybe that person has a grudge. So always, the fact that I myself, I'm so sensitive to everything that happens, to my own emotions, I've learned to not always judge someone by what you see. There is always a reason, a deep reason behind what you see. And there are tons of things which my depression has taught me. My depression has taught me to enjoy every single day like it is the last one. I admit that I don't always manage to do that because, again, you know, depression plays lots of tricks on you. I will talk about that in my next video, but for this one, what I am trying to tell you is that don't be scared of your emotions. Like I always say, you will see whenever such an emotion comes, whether the sadness is overwhelming, you can't cope, you feel like you can't cope, so just take a diary and write every single thing down without filter, without editing. No one is going to see it. Write all these disturbing thoughts in your mind, all of them, you know, as if there is nothing to hide. You write all of them the way, without editing, without filtering. Don't be ashamed of your thoughts. You will see that don't even try to judge, don't even try to find a solution, just write them. You will see that just by accepting that, you feel very much better, you feel lighter. Never never try to deny that feeling. When the feeling of depression comes, don't try to push it away, don't try to pretend that it's not there. Just accept it. Like that famous poem by Jalaluddin Rumi, I think it's called The Guest or The Guest House, something like that. So depression is like a guest. You should welcome all guests equally, whether it is happiness, sadness, love, depression. So when depression comes, you invite it, you let it sit down, you offer it a cup of tea, you talk to him or to it, and then the depression will just go away automatically. You don't have to fight with yourself like, why am I feeling depressed? I don't have the right to feel like that. There must be something wrong. Why do I always feel depressed? You know, I'm such a loser. So don't think that way. It's very normal. It's very normal. But when it gets to a certain point where it's affecting your life and you feel like it's really, you're not being able to cope, then you should seek help. You should always seek help. Even if you feel like it's not that serious, I would recommend you still, as a preventive measure, to seek help. You can never lose anything through therapy. If you don't want medication, then at least talk to someone, whether it is informally, but